welcome to another episode of the transformation of my old truck, Trusty Rusty. Unfortunately, for this episode, I didn't do a very good job of taking a lot of videos while I was working on this part. So I did most of the motor swap with almost no video, but plenty of photos. So instead, I'm just going to kind of talk you through a little slideshow and explain everything we're looking at. So obviously we pulled the old motor out and started test fitting the new one. And it fits, sort of, but we ran into a lot of problems. I also realized I needed to shorten where the shifter came from. The GTO was a little bit short. And change out the oil pan. So you can kind of see how clean that is. There's the new oil pan. It's kind of a modification of a truck pan. But all of a sudden, things start looking like they fit. The new oil pan clears the steering linkage and sway bar and all that stuff. I then disassembled the interior. As you can see right there, the heater core was leaking really badly. And while I was in there, I decided to do sound deadening, Dynamat, new carpet, the whole nine, and of course a new heater core. I modified the floor pans so I could fit new seats. 2018 WRX seats went in. Ignore my really crappy welding. Paint covers it all up. We rebuilt the cross member, the engine cross member, to fit the new oil pan, and I got a new passenger side door. You might have noticed in the other photos in the previous video that was really messed up. So we painted the inside black and started test fitting some of the new cosmetic changes we're going to be making to the truck, and cleaning up the engine bay, getting it ready, and also starting to combat a little bit of the rust in the rear. I've got some rust converter on there, and we ended up QR15ing the whole thing, and started building some engine mounts. And pretty soon here we're going to start working on the rear end. So there's the Ford 8.8 stripped of all the Mustang equipment, and brake calipers up in the front, upgraded ones, painted. It's kind of a combination of Toyota and various Nissan parts, so that was pretty cool. Big upgrade compared to what it was. And test fit in the rear end just to kind of see what things look like. New wheels going on it. Those are Mustang wheels, obviously. Always liked the way those look. And they were cheap. So, some more mock-ups. You can see the rear wheels are pretty wide, but may actually need a little bit wider. We're going to see. And here I'm starting to build a traction bar. I realized that if I had wheel hop with 130 horsepower, with 400 plus, it's going to get real bad. So, did kind of a modified design that I saw somebody else with one of these trucks do. It's pretty cool. And we started building exhaust manifolds for the motor. You can see it is really tight. Holy cow, was that a pain in the rear to get those to fit. So they're just modified manifolds. We used Schedule 40 pipe, welded that on, and then went to V-bands so that we could easily disassemble it and modify it in the future. Then I painted it, just to kind of make them look a little better and keep the rust down. I actually end up wrapping it though, which you're going to see here in just a second. Did the it's DEI titanium wrap, and this is skipping forward a little bit, but just so you can kind of see what the exhaust ended up looking like with those headers mounted. Pretty cool. Here you can see the drive shaft. I'd make another modification to one of the cross members. That is at full drop with weight holding the suspension down. And I don't know what that bar is called, but there's a couple bars that go forward in the vehicle that had rusted out and were making these horrible grinding noises, so I kind of added some material and welded them back in. And then started building my gauge cluster. I was planning on using that Sun tack, but unfortunately in the process of test fitting things, I broke it. So I ended up going with Glow Shift RGB tack, which honestly fits the build a hell of a lot better anyway. You can kind of see what this looks like with it all powered up. Pretty cool. The Holley dash. This is at this point, I don't think I've explained. I went with a Holley Terminator X EFI as opposed to using the stock EFI, just because it gave me a lot more flexibility and it's really easy and I can do things down the road. And so then here I'm painting the engine base and the inner fenders. I did some chassis liner and rubberizer in the fenders to try to cut down on noise. And here's the final install of the motor where things start getting real. Ah, and my F-body alternator. Look how tight that is. And this is about the time I started doing videos again. Hey, figured I'd give everyone a quick update on how close this is. So this is my Hardbody that I'm doing a LS swap in. And I almost got to try to do the first start tonight, but unfortunately I'm actually out of gas, and I think I've got the wrong tune on my Holly, but this is how close we are. Dash is going to fire up. Kind of cool. So we get that going. And she's got oil in her, and I can do this. So freaking close. I've got the oil pump kind of jerry-rigged right now because I'm trying to prime it to get it ready to really run for real. Ignore my incredible wiring mess over here. Like I said, everything's kind of jerry-rigged while I'm doing my testing and stuff, and then it'll be done. And when I go to actually do it for real, it'll be done a lot better. But we can go under here. Let's see how tight everything is. That's the exhaust that I made. Let's see, it goes all the way back. It's going to go through a high flow cat and then a resonator, and then I've got a muffler on the way. Got the O2 sensor installed. Everything's all good to go. Motor's primed with oil. I've got my fuel, or sorry, not fuel, this is my power steering line. I almost got the right line today, but unfortunately it's just a little bit wrong, so I'm going to have that done next week. And the fuel system's plumbed. I tried to prime the pump, but it was making a kind of gurgling noise, which tells me I'm just out of gas. So I don't even want to try to start it that way. I ran it for a little while, and then I was like, yeah, I'm gonna fill it up. I knew it was really low. I actually brought the truck here super low on gas on purpose. So, but yeah, it's almost there. So, kind of exciting. Anyhow, hope you enjoyed the update, and for any of you that are curious, and yeah, hopefully the next one is actually of this thing running, and then I can start putting things together for real and making it look nice. Alrighty, anyway, bye. Well, today's a big day. I am by no means done, but something important happened today for the very first time. Got oil pressure. It runs. Got my muffler just kind of sitting there just to keep things a little more quiet and reasonable. But that runs. I got no cooling system on it yet, so obviously I can only run it for a couple seconds, but still, I am beyond excited. So, in any case, figured all you guys would like to see that. Pretty cool. Now it's time to finalize some things and put it together for real. Hey, figured it's time for another update on the truck. So, this is a fairly big deal. The motor is 100% up and running at this point. I've got a lot of details I still need to work out. I've got breather lines I need to run. My oil catch can that I ordered is Unfortunately lost in the mail, so I had to order another one. So I'll put that on probably next week. But I've got heater hoses. Those are all installed with the new heater core. The radiator is installed and actually filled up with fluid. I haven't bled it yet, so there's still a lot of air in the system. But I'm working on that. And at least there's enough coolant in it now that I can let the engine run for a while. It's got like 2.5 gallons in it. Then I'm just working on bleeding it out and getting the rest of the air out and whatnot. So I just finished running it for a little while, just a little bit, long enough that the header tape that's on it started to smoke, which is normal. That's what it's supposed to do. It's kind of baking. That's how that stuff works, is it'll kind of bake on. I've got the fuel pump wired through the factory fuel relay. I rewired that little box there. So this little fuel pump relay that's right there is actually running the new AEM fuel pump. It was massively overkill for the Nissan motors. It's like rated at 30 amps. But the wiring was really puny, so I had to upgrade all the wiring. But all that's good. I've got a jerry rig. Check out my exhaust. This has got to be the longest exhaust ever. I stuck that out just to get it out of the door. You can tell I've been running it. Just to keep from the fumes from building up in here. But the exhaust is done with the exhaust cutout wired up. And it's wired up to this little switch right here. And why don't we fire it up so you can hear it? I don't have my tachometer reading correctly yet. I gotta figure that out, but starts right up. It's not overly loud. It sounds nice. Nothing is leaking. Everything is happy. And it sounds good. Here, we'll give it a rev. And then we'll make it fun sounding. So here's the valve. And now we'll give it another rev. And then you just flip a switch. And it quiets down again. Really, really cool. And I haven't even tuned it correctly just yet, but the AFRs are really nice. Motor's running nice. No real issues so far, so... Oh, and my fuel gauge works. Alrighty, I'm gonna shut her off. So, it has almost all the fluids in it now. It's got power steering fluid. The fuel is completely done. Cooling system is built. I just need to bleed it. So I mean, this thing is really damned close. About all I have left to make it drive is I need to finish my rear brakes. You can kind of see the slotted disc over there. But there's no caliper on it. I've got those painted and ready to go. So it's damned close. But yeah, God, this thing sounds so good. I am so excited. I really want to get it all the way finished now. Serious motivation.